minutes about some programs we're doing. In addition to the education program that we do throughout the year, where we welcome up to 2,000 kids from the Philadelphia area and beyond, we have some events and programs, some new, some have become a tradition. We actually do have a ghost tour on June 16th. It starts at 7:30 and goes to 11 p.m. We have discount tickets for tonight only, so if you want to come to RittenhouseTown and learn how to use EVP and ghost hunting equipment, that is the night that you want to do it. And it's a discount rate, so it's a great deal. Okay? It's actually, right. If it helps at all, it's Free Spirit Investigators, who also does a ghost program here at Laurel Hill. So if they do a program here with ghosts, you know that they're good. Okay. So also we have a yard-sponsored happy hour on June 13th at RittenhouseTown from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's basically going to be hoagies like tonight. We're going to have, I'm not sure about live music, but we'll have some sort of music, hanging out, very casual evening. Really all the beer you can drink as long as you bring a safe driver with you. And it's basically just a party at RittenhouseTown. It's a way to get all of you to RittenhouseTown to see it, because a lot of our events, while fun, haven't really gotten people to RittenhouseTown because they've been themed about, you know, David Rittenhouse or this, which is great, but we also want to get you to RittenhouseTown at some point. So if you want to come to the happy hour on the 13th or the ghost tour, you're more than welcome to do so. We hope that you do that and register either tonight with us for the ghost tour or online for the happy hour.
Kehoe, who's the owner of Yards, will be there for the happy hour, and he is just great. You just start him talking, and he will talk for hours about brewing the old recipes, because, you know, the ales of the Revolution are Washington, Jefferson, and Franklin's own personal recipes. He's really, really very interesting, so there is something to learn. Yeah. What about, Paper Arts Workshop Series is something else we do every summer. We bring professional paper crafters together with the community. You can learn Japanese paper making, you can learn Turkish marbling, you can learn all kinds of really kind of cool and different kinds of techniques. Again, the best place to learn about all of this and to keep abreast of it is our website. What I want to do now is to thank the folks from the Rittenhouse Astronomical Society, who are standing right here, who are the people who have brought all the technology, and then I'll do this. I also want to recognize someone from Laurel Hill. Let's start there because he'll tell us a lot more stuff. So if you want to just tell everybody about Laurel Hill, it would be great.
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Alexis. I'm the Development and Programs Coordinator for the Friends of Laurel Hill. We're the nonprofit that takes care of the cemetery. And welcome to 1836. That's where you're standing. That's when we were founded here in the city of Philadelphia, although at this time this was all rural. And the idea that Philadelphia would ever extend this far was beyond the founders' wildest dreams, as was also cars, which they were very shocked about, and all sorts of other technology. But we are the final resting place of the famous and the ordinary. We're a National Historic Landmark, and we do programs all throughout the year. Everything from walking tours about history, if you like the Civil War, if you want to know about famous women, to next month we'll actually be having a movie night out here, so you can BYOB and watch some great films from the Secret Cinema. And also come Halloween, we'll be very, very, very busy. We have non-stop activities. From the first weekend we do our Rest in Peace 5K run to our Halloween flashlight tours, and this year we'll also be delving into the life of Edgar Allan Poe. So we'll have some very cool stuff going on. You can visit our website, see all of our great programming and activities, and we hope to see you guys as soon as temporary visitors, not as permanent visitors.
Very good. Very good.
So thank you guys.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. Rittenhouse Astronomical Society. This is Dave Walker. Dave has headed up a group that's come here tonight to help us understand what's going on to compensate for the clouds. So I will turn it over to you.
Okay, if some of you have heard this before, it's because we had a lot of people asking some really wonderful questions right as we were setting up and getting ready for the event, which is going on as we speak. Right now, for the last time in our lives, a small black dot is moving across the face of the sun, and that black dot is the planet Venus, backlit by the sun. Venus is a planet the size of Earth that orbits inside of Earth's orbit compared to the sun. It means it takes less time to go around the sun than the Earth does, and every so often it catches up to the Earth and lines up with the Earth, Venus, and the sun. And you would think that this would happen every few years because comes up every 540 odd days. This is when Venus does catch up. Little problem though. The solar system isn't flat. Our orbits are actually tilted or inclined compared to the celestial equator. The point we kind of say is that we're flattish. So sometimes we're above and Venus is below, and Venus appears to glide below the sun and you can't see it. Or vice versa. But on a 243-year cycle, the orbits of Venus and the Earth are close enough to the same plane that when Venus moves between the Earth and the Sun, we can actually see it go across the Sun. The last time in our lifetimes we could see this was back in 2004 when it happened on a June morning at sunrise. And we saw the transit already in progress. People further east got to see it start, go through the transit, and end. Tonight, if the lovely clouds would ever go away, we would actually have been able to see it start, go through its beginning, and then the sun would set before it completed, and only people further out west would be able to see the whole event. Now, assuming we didn't have clouds and we were looking through the telescopes or our glasses, the safety filters, so we did not burn out our eyes. I sound like a broken record, but it's what we call really important to get across. Never look directly at the sun, especially with anything that magnifies. What we would see is that a few minutes past 6 o'clock, a small dip appearing on the upper edge of the sun. Venus will not be traveling across the middle. It would appear from our point of view to be on the western limb of the sun. Then Venus would be moving into the sun, and we would see the dent become bigger and bigger until it became a D shape, and then actually start to become a circle. Now when it first makes the dent, we call that first contact. That's the measure of the actual start of what's going on. When the inside of Venus just touches the inside of the sun, and the disk is fully resolved, we call that the second contact, and then Venus starts to move into the sun a little more. And some people have noticed something called the black drop effect. Whether it's an optical illusion or effect of refraction of the atmosphere, we're not sure, but it looks almost like a black drop of ink kind of dripping off the edge of the sun, and then Venus turns back into a complete disk. Some people have even observed with telescopes a faint ring of light around the edge of Venus just as it's coming in. When that was first seen, that was actually our first evidence that Venus had an atmosphere, because sunlight would refract around the atmosphere of Venus. Just like when you see those beautiful pictures of sunrise taken from the space station, you see the black earth below and that beautiful thin crescent, that protective atmosphere that we are all so reliant and cursing today on. That was one of the first clues that other planets were like Earth and not just rocky bodies and spins. Venus would continue its transit across till it meets a point where it's halfway between the edges of the sun on its path. That's the moment of deepest transit. We wouldn't see that tonight because the sun will be setting about 8:30, and deepest transit is about close to 9 o'clock. But if we were in a further western part of the world, we would see Venus continuing until the outer edge of Venus touched the outer edge of the sun. Does anyone know what that point would be called? Any guesses?
Moving to New York and actually at the end of the month.
Okay, the start of the egress, but there's a technical name for that first point of, and that would be the third contact of Venus, as an egress is the sun. At the beginning, very good question, we call that the ingress period. Then Venus will continue to get smaller and smaller, making a lesser and lesser dent. At the point of third contact, just before, you might even see another black drop effect. Venus continues getting smaller and smaller and smaller until that dent just starts to disappear. And when the dent is finally ended, the edge of Venus is on the outer edge of the sun, and we call that the fourth contact. You guys don't have to be shy. And then the event ends, and we can all go back to normal. I was hoping that when an event ended, we could throw away the solar filters, well, pack them away, they're very valuable, and maybe even look at some of the stars in the moon. But right now, we have a typical Philadelphia overcast day. It feels like March, it's beautifully cool. I see light through the clouds way over there. I see light through the clouds way over here. But for some reason, we got clouds right overhead. We've got a small red telescope that's pointed at the expressway, not exactly the front, but if you have a telescope, it gives you a chance to see how they look. after this and watch the rest of the transit of Venus until after midnight. SLOOH.com. Look for their transit of Venus coverage. They've got telescopes around the world, all over the World Wide Web. And at least one of them has got me the cloud from the sky right now. My name's Dave Walker. That's about all I have to say right now. We thank you for coming. Yes, question.
If you were in a position where you could see the whole transit,
Yes.
how long would it take from
Great question. If we were in a position where we could see the whole event from ingress to egress, it would take between 6.5 to 7 hours. The time varies depending on our latitude. Because Venus isn't traveling across the middle of the sun, if we're further in line, it appears to travel deeper across the sun and get a longer transit. If we're at a shallower angle, it only comes across a smaller part of the sun, and we get a shorter transit. And this is the important part for all of you David Rittenhouse fans. He was the guy in 1769, well, starting before, these take years to play, who said, if we get people in different latitudes on the Earth to measure the transit at the same time, when we come back, we can take those calculations, do some pretty decent math on them, and figure out the distance between the Earth and the Sun, and give us an idea of the scale of the solar system. And because of the successful measurements done back in 1769 and follow-up ones during the next cycle, they figured out that the Earth was about how many million miles from the Sun based on their measurements?
93 million.
Gentlemen here said 93. That is the average distance of the Earth to the Sun measured out. Our orbit is elliptical. Sometimes it's closer to 92, sometimes it's 94 and something. But our ancestors got 95, which is pretty good. Today, though, we tell the school kids 93. It's a nice round number. The universe, like the transit, is really great in theory, but a little messy when you get into the details. Because our orbits aren't all on the same plane exactly, because our orbits are not all exactly circular, the measurements are thrown off. But that's why astronomers all have PhDs, great education, and get paid the big bucks. Thank you, though, for your answer. That was a great intro. And thank you for that great question.